For the kallai, and for Shannon, who taught me the ways of magic. We came into being as the food of the gods, but now we have opened our mouth. A note before we begin. For a map of the world of Achilles and the dramatis personae from the book, be sure to download the accompanying enhancement PDF from your audiobook provider or go directly to www.harpercollins.com/pages/wrathgoddesssing. Chapter 1. Achilles was still drowning. She was still trapped in the well, kicking against the water, clawing at the slick walls, fighting to break the surface, while Chiron watched clinically from above, dangling a rope just out of reach. But then the memory faded, and the world regained its solidity. Achilles was safe on Skiros, clutching at the frame of Deidamia's bed. Damia was still tangled up in their shared blankets, her pale chest rising and falling in the soft rhythms of wine-soaked slumber. Last night must have been fun, but Achilles could not remember. Tense, barely able to breathe, Achilles stalked out into the terrace garden. The western horizon was still a blur of dark blue seas and dark blue sky, so she ascended the stairway from the women's terrace and climbed the palace watchtower that looked out toward the mainland. She had befriended the watchmen months ago. As far as they were concerned, she was a noble lady from Iolea, a pleasant, quiet girl with a sad smile and a fondness for staring out to sea at odd hours. If they thought she was looking for anything in particular, it was probably the sails of some lover or friend, some kinsman she longed to see. The sun inched up. A few familiar fishing boats were out, small craft with unmarked sails in the distinctive style of the Sporadis, boats from Skopelos and Skiros. Long ships from the mainland would mean danger. Sails embroidered with the six-legged ant of Thea would mean Chiron and the Myrmidons had found her. The wind shifted. "No ships will come today," said Dolops, the older of the watchmen. "Storms coming off Uboya." That was a relief. Though Achilles prided herself on despising superstition, she always watched the sea more closely after a flashback, hands clenched at her sides. Dark clouds were indeed massing in the west, driven by a southwest wind. It was too far to discern the waters at the storm head, but she could imagine them, swells of gray as deep as the eyes of the owls in her dreams, their violence still held in reserve, while the wind picked up and the clouds thickened and the first flash of lightning sheeted across the southwest sky. "What do you see?" asked Lykorgos, the younger watchman. Achilles narrowed her eyes. Until he had spoken, she did not realize she was focusing on anything in particular. But now she made out a tiny speck of white just above the line of the horizon, the sail and mast of a distant longship. Her body tightened, and then boom! Distant thunder shuddered through her body, and she braced herself against the stone turret, straining to see. The harder she stared, the clearer the speck became. A longship surging up the crest of a swollen gray wave, riding the peak and sliding down into the trough. She could almost taste the cold salt spray on her skin, in her nostrils, could almost hear the rumble of the boat's drum, the grunts of the rowers, the strain of the sail. Fools or unlucky to be out in a storm like this. They would never reach Skiros in time. Or so she hoped. "A longship," she said, "just ahead of the storm." Her throat burned with sudden bile. She couldn't make out the sail clearly, but 1,000 fears and plans stormed through her brain regardless. If it was a Myrmidon ant sail, she would hide herself in the caves below the palace, or out in the forest, or in Scorpia's farm village down the coast. She would stay there for weeks, until it was safe to come out. I will never let them find me. I will never go back alive. "They'll drown." Dolops seemed resigned. "Do you know what it's like to drown, Lady Red?" Unfortunately, no. It was easier to lie. Better to hear him explain again how the body died in water than to tell him what it really felt like. The way her lungs had burned in air, then in water,